I just wanted to go over Leslie Lodd's Think SRSD. It starts with a power cycle. So within every power cycle, there's preview for the gist, pull apart a prompt, pick ideas, organize in a tide, draft, and then score. The scoring I will go over. It's color coded. Yellow is important information, and orange is details. And you can also include any grammar or conventions you're working on as stars or moons or flames. This is just showing you that it starts with a source, and then same thing. You have your preview for a gist. You have pull apart the prompt, pick ideas, organize in a tide, and draft. And then the students will score either the collaborative rate or an exemplar that's below or above level, or their own work eventually when they've internalized the scoring process. Here is the P3. So it's just showing you that P1 is get the gist, P2 is pull apart the prompt, P3 is pick ideas, and then you would go to organize in a tide and write. This is just showing you grade 1, where she you can see the side of the tide here, and then you can see that she's drafting, and she'll be checking off the tide as she drafts. I think this is the first page actually, where she's picked ideas. And then the self-regulation is something that comes with the P's, like, so she calls it self-P. There's 3 parts of a self-regulation. I think they're just doing one part here, but you have self-talk, and then you have you have tools that you would use. So would you use tide or sentence stems or some other tool? And then you have a goal. So the goal would be like a class goal or an independent writing goal. You can't see all that there because it's a young class and they're not doing all of them. You can see it here. So you got 2 self-talks, and then you have the tool, and then you have a goal. Goal's not filled in there. Here you just have an example of the full P part of power. So you have the self-talk with the 3 parts, and then you have the preview for the gist and pull apart the prompt. Pull apart as in verb and topic, which will eventually become a topic sentence. And then you have picking ideas. I think this one's based on the Other Side book. And here's another example of, well, this is actually the tide. So you can just have the students just write it, do the template themselves, or there are templates. So you have T and then ID, 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 and E. So basically they're pretty much all the same, but you can organize your tide any way you want. This is just how I think of, because this is just kind of new stuff from Leslie, but this I think of as first read. The first read, you're just reading for the gist and pulling apart the prompt and just setting a purpose. And then the second read, you're annotating more your ideas, and you are boxing important vocabulary. And then after, you go back and you're organizing your information, and you're starring more, you're bracketing more, you're numbering more, just to because now you're more trying to pull apart the prompt and get what you need. Here's just an example from a younger class, kindergarten. I think they read Peter's Chair, and this is the gist and the pull apart the prompt, and then they just did a simple tide plan themselves. Here this teacher's checking off tide as she's drafting. This is just an example of the templates I was talking about that you could use for your tide. Here's an example of the scoring guide. So you have 2 points for an introduction, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 for I and D, and then 1 point for your conclusion, and then whatever else you want to add, like links or sentence structure. Here is a student who's self-scoring. This is the books that Leslie Lodd has written, and that these come from. This is just a person that Charles Haynes, who she bases a lot of her research on, and just always mentions as a very important expert in that. And here's the 2 books that are available. Thank you.